The people who live in social housing have a stigma sort of attached to them that we don't care about climate change, or we don't care about, environmental stewardship. In 2017, we had four sewage floods. Two of those sewage floods devastated families who live on the first floor. The cause of the sewage flood was people's waste management practices. So some folks were throwing things down the toilet or the drain that actually shouldn't go, like, oil, baby wipes, hair, clothing scraps, which ultimately ended up bursting and causing a lot of damage. We were walking in sewage water, was a lot.
People that live in social housing, we're pretty much a mixed community, mostly non-first generation Canadian and their children. So my family's from El Salvador. My mom immigrated here about 36 years ago, arrived here pregnant with me and my brother, twins, and an older son.
Was recycling part of your mom's life back home?
No, for my mom and people from our culture, it's not a thing that we are taught or we ever grew up on. Coming from a third world country, they're actually living day by day. People throw garbage on the streets. Recycle, reduce, and reuse becomes the back burner.
Being born here, what really stood out to me, especially in community housing, it's immigrants and people who are coming here who have a very different idea about waste management. We don't think about how even just the small things, like where you throw away your garbage, is different.
Some of us do not either have the resources, don't have the support. Some of us don't know that we need to care and how much we need to do in order to support caring for an environment, whether that's the building or the community. The other piece that's important is that in the climate change space, there's not a lot of representation. For the most part, it still seems to be very white-led, especially people from low income and social housing. They don't even see themselves as part of the conversation. They're like, we do climate change? Like, talk about hurtful. So I run a nonprofit called Seed Canada, and we do climate justice and climate education workshops in social housing communities. We want people to just understand how much what you do contributes to how things end up being when it comes to a building and how a building operates. The more you are able to organize the waste that you are disposing of, the cleaner the building stays, the better we are able to manage the upkeep of the building, because everybody's doing their part to take care of the space that we live in. We want to encourage young people, particularly marginalized or racialized folks, to get involved in climate and in environmental stewardship. So after the floods in 2017, we decided to come up with something called an eco blitz. And we had residents play the sorting game. We had, food scraps, batteries, nail polish, a few clothing items, everything that we had experienced with the flood. We incorporated, asking people to sort them into categories. We had about 54% of the building participate.
I think a huge part of how Zamani teaches at Seed was that she was really happy when people would get things wrong. Because every time someone gets something wrong or they don't know something, it is an opportunity to teach them. A lot of the times people, especially in community housing, slip through the cracks.
So in 2019, we decided to run the eco blitzes again.
Because no one's willing to take that time to say, you're making mistakes, but it's literally not on you. It's that you haven't been taught this.
My goal was to get people to really understand the impact of their actions. What you do here matters to somebody somewhere else.
She will take the time to say, who are you? Talk to me a little bit more about your cultural background, about what inspires you, what wakes you up on a daily basis.
So we looked at the climate change headlines and where they came from.
Where I'm from, torrential rain causes major flooding.
So, initially I talked about 54% of the building participate.
Garbage, let alone having garbage bins on the street, is not a thing.
But the second time we did this eco-blitz,
She showed me images of garbage and how it clogs things and it affects people back home.
we had 88% of the building participate,
So that had an impact on me.
which was amazing. That's what I'm talking about. For a racialized person who lives in social housing, I want you to understand that your presence is so critical in this climate change conversation. We need you, your thoughts, your genius ideas. It just adds another lens of expertise and awareness. And it's so critical for people with those identities to be part of the leadership of this climate change action and sustainability work. We want to continue to foster that way of thinking, and we want to create a space where people can see themselves participating in climate action and sustainability. Why not create a space for all of us to exist? Because we're all here in the community.